Hey YouTube, this is DIY Coach Al at Lawn Care and Home Repair. Today, we're going to get into a little bit of wainscoting. Yeah, that went in right. Think y'all going to like this. Be right back. Okay, so we're on to the next part of this project. We're going to now put the chair rail up. So what we're going to do is measure from one side of the window to the next. And Tanisha, you can just hook the back on the windowsill right there. There you go. All righty. That's okay. I'll hold it for you. We're just measuring from one side to the next, and we want to get an exact measurement. 89. Okay, so it's not totally level, so let's push it down some, and let's stretch out the tape to make sure we're getting it exact. And we want to get to the quarter inch.
Can't tell if it's on this one or that one. Hold on.
Okay. You see it? What measurement do you have?
We're at 88. What is this? I don't know how to read this.
All righty. Some of the tape measures don't have the actual quarter inch. So right there, 88 and 3/4. Actually, I cheated. I already measured this. I just wanted to see if Tanisha was going to get it. Okay, now Tanisha, what we want to do is measure. We have 88 and 3/4, and I always tell my students, the rule is you measure twice so that you only have to cut once. And whenever you're doing things like chair rails and things, those things can be expensive because they charge by the foot. So it's better for us to cut it too long than too short. We got 88 and 3/4. We're going to come back and cut a piece of chair. Okay, so we're getting ready to come down and cut some chair rail over here. Just go right in, the light will come on. There we go. Alrighty, so you guys know that I name most of my tools. My miter saw is called Moses, and what holds Moses up is Aaron and Hur. Now, we're going to actually cut some wood here. So we're going to put this to the side for now. We're going to always practice safety. We have Tanisha, I have glasses, so I'm going to put some eyewear on, and we're going to wipe it down, and we're going to also use some ear protection. So let's get your eyewear. Just going to wipe that down. Nobody has used it, but just gonna wipe it down anyway. I'm going to also use some ear protection because this can be very, very, very loud. Alrighty. So we're going to, now on the side, Tanisha, there's a button that you just, when you put it on, you turn that button right over here. Yep. So we can hear each other. I'm good. Can you hear me? Just turn it until you can hear.
I can hear
you. Can hear now? Okay. All right. So we are at 88 and 3/4 inches. So Tanisha is going to get her measuring tape.
Do you have a trash?
You can just put that right there for now. And we're going to measure out to 88 and 3/4. And I'll hold it down here on this end for you. And we're going to put it right at 88. You know what we want to do? We want to cut off. Let's measure from down there on that end, because that end down there still has the primer on it. Okay, you come down on this end, and I'll go down there.
Okay.
And you get right at 88 and 3/4. And for those of you who are just starting to do this, it's best that you get a tape measure that actually has the increments on it. Once you've been doing this for a while, you kind of know your 1/4, your 1/2, your 3/4. But we're going to put it right on 88 and 3/4. We have it?
Yep.
All righty. Now we are getting ready to use Moses. And you're going to come right over here. You got your gloves on and your eyeglasses on. Yep. And we're going to push this against the back of the plate. And we're going to move it down until we get to your measuring spot. We want to make sure this is flat on the miter saw. Let's extend this out. Uh-oh, wrong one. Alrighty. So now what we want to do, we want to bring our blade down. What we're going to do is let's put a mark right up there. Let's get our speed square to make sure, because we're going to put the blade right on there. Let's use our speed square to make sure we're straight. Right here. I'm going to let you do it. Move it up. You tell me when you're there. You got it?
Go over a little bit.
Right there? Okay, we're going to put it right up on that bump right there. That's all we need. The speed square makes sure that we have straight lines. It's nothing worse than cutting wood and you don't have straight lines. Then you have to cut again. So now, as I said, with safety, we're going to make sure we have our ear protection on. We're going to make sure we have our eye protection on. And we're going to have gloves on because wood splinters. And I always tell my students to make sure you have gloves on because it's better to have them on and not need them than to get a splinter under your nail or something like that and you don't have it. Now, the way these miter saws work, let me put this right here. This is our safety guard. Whenever you bring the blade down, that guard is going to go up so that you're not making contact with the wood. And there is a safety trigger on here. We have to push it over, then up. This will be a little feeling. You're military, right? Your family?
Yeah, my
okay,
family.
all right. So what we want to do is before we cut, we want to just bring it down and make sure we have our blade on that mark. So I'm going to have you do that, Tanisha.
Okay.
Make sure your blade is on the mark. If it's not, we're going to push it over.
Push it over just a little bit.
A little.
It's right there.
We're right there?
Yeah.
Okay, so now what we're going to do, I'm going to hold this while Tanisha cuts. And this is a multi-material blade. You want it, some of them are specifically for wood, some are specifically for different types of material. This is a bi-material blade, so this actually makes a pretty good cut so that we don't have a lot of stragglers and we have to sand it. So we're going to bring it down. We're going to start our blade and bring it down. Now we don't want to have your hand right there. That wouldn't be good. I'm going to hold it on this side.
Okay.
There we go. And we're going to push the handle over and we're going to start it. We're going to bring it down slowly. Slowly. There we go. Now we're going to cut. And we're going to let it back up slowly.
Oh, that felt like butter.
Have you used a miter saw before?
Huh?
Have you used one of these before?
Like once.
Oh, once? Okay. All right. So now we're going to take our wood. Hopefully, now what I would normally do, I'll do this later, since we have the exposed wood here, then I'm going to put some primer on that. This wood is already primed. That way, if you want to paint it, it's already primed. You don't have to worry about putting primer on it. So now what we're going to do, we're going to get that tool right there that's leaning against that post. That is our brad nailer. That's what we use to put this up on the wall. Okay, so I'm going to give that to you. And we're going to go back upstairs and we're going to look at the other thing that we'll need in order to get that done. Be right back. Now, what we want to do, as I said before in my intro, we already have the chair rail on that side. And there is like this little column that's around there separating the two rooms. But we want to make sure aesthetically we have them lined up. This is where, we're going to put that down, Tanisha. This is where this comes into play, a laser level. Whenever you're doing things like wainscoting, you're putting up chair rails, you want to always make sure you use something like a laser level. This one is self-balancing. Basically what that means is that it will balance itself out even if it moves around a little. So we are now balanced with that rail over there. And that's going to be our measurement line. So what we're going to do, Tanisha, is go over there and we're going to use our brad nailer to put it at the bottom of that green line. So I'm going to help you out over here. And we're going to put it right there against the wall. And want to make sure that it's at the top. I'm going to put it up a little more. Alrighty. Now,
Do this go up a little bit as well?
no, because the thing is with whenever you get wood like this, sometimes the wood will warp when it's standing up in the big box stores. It'll actually warp or bow. It's what we call bow. And I can see that this is bowed a little bit. So we're going to start with our first mark. And the way we use this, Tanisha, is that we're going to press this against that. And then we're going to pull the trigger and it's going to shoot a nail in. So I'm going to do the first one right here. And I want to make sure it goes into a stud. Uh-oh. And because this is a window seal, I know that our jack stud is right here. So we always want to make sure that we get our brad nails into a stud. And our studs are always 16 inches on center. But what we want to do now is just get this in, because we're going to put one right here. And then we're going to bend that part up. So let's let that fall to right here.
Okay.
And I'm going to have you put a nail in. So we want to press it. We're going to put it right here on that fat part.
Right here.
Press it and shoot. All right. Have you used one of these before?
No.
All righty. Tanisha just put her first brad nail in. Okay. And now what we want to do is try. And let's put another one right here where this hole already is, because I've actually used this before.
Okay.
Let's put another one there. All righty, we got it?
Yes.
Now what we want to do is angle this up until we're where we need to be. And right here is also our jack and our king studs over here. Our king stud is going to be on the outer end. And this is actually a perfect cut, Tanisha. So we're going to put one right here.
Where the hole is? Or you
Yeah, you can put it where the hole is. And just make sure we're right there. Push in and press. Alrighty. Now, there's no such thing as a perfect line whenever you're doing this kind of work. It's going to be off a little bit somewhere. So now what we want to do is just put, I'd like to put one like every 8 or 9 inches apart from each other. So let's, Tanisha, go ahead and put a brad nail here and one there.
okay?
And one over there. Alrighty, so Tanisha has just put up her first chair rail. And if you can see, this is actually running on the top, just like it is over there. So now we have continuity. Next thing we're gonna do is put another one over here in between this column and the wall and over there against that window. Alrighty, so now we have to measure, be right back. Okay, so we are now going to put what's called wainscoting. We're going to bit our window right here. And what we decided to do was put it 5 inches off from the chair rail. And we're going to use the 49-inch piece for the horizontal, the 49-inch piece for the vertical.
Is this okay?
Yep. So we want to take the longer piece and we want to make sure it's right in the center of the wall. So let's get our level. I'm sorry, our tape measure. And we're going to go with 90 inches. So what we want to do is put our centerpiece at 45. Need another pen? Okay. You got it? Okay. So it's 89 3/4. We're just going to make this 90. So we're going to put a mark right at 45 to make sure the center of our piece is right there. And what we're going to do is Measure here. It's probably a simpler way to do this. This is just I've been doing. Let's measure. And that's 59.
Yep.
So we're gonna go 34. What is that? 35? No, I'm sorry, my math. 29 and a half. Let's go 29 and a half. So we'll just put it right at 30. So we're going to 29 and a half. It's not going to be exactly centered. All righty. So now what we want to do is make sure we have our mark here. We're going to make sure that, okay, we marked it right here. We're going to put our mark on our mark right there. Are we on our mark? Yeah, right there. We're good. Okay, so now we're going to bring it down and we're going to use our brad nailer to put that first piece in. Right down there.
Put it right here.
All righty, and then we're going to bring this piece and put one there. All righty. So now, what we can see is that it's not. This piece of wood is bowed also. I'm only putting one on either end now. In the event that I have to take this down, like if I want to paint it or something like that, the fewer nails we put in, the less we have to pull back out. Okay, so now we have our bottom. So what we want to do now is switch to our vertical line. And we want to make sure that when we put this vertical piece up, that it is level. All righty. So right there. Now we're going to take the shorter piece and we're going to connect it. All righty. That should fit right there in the groove. Okay. Now, I'm going to move this over here so that we can, right there. Okay, so we're going to now use our brad nailer and put one nail in the bottom. Gonna do it. There you go. I'll hold this. There we go. Put one right there. Alrighty. And then we're going to just put one more up here. Yep. Alrighty. Now where you see the cracks, I'm not sure if you can see it from there. Where you see the cracks, I'll bring the camera up a little bit and show you. What we're going to do is either use caulk or the lighter wood filler to put in there. Whenever you see wainscoting and you see those perfect corners, it's because they did put some kind of filler in there, smoothed it out, and then painted it. Alrighty, so now we're going to put our second piece over here. Right there. And we're just going to do one and one again. We're going to make sure we're on our line. Is our line right there? Okay, let's move our line over. We're going to start from the bottom. Right about there. All righty. All right, so let's. No, because we're going to start from, it's already flush in the corner right there. We're just going to grab our brad nailer and put one piece on the bottom. And then we're going to put one, let's move the top over just a little bit. Right there? Yep, that's good right there. All righty, so now we're going to put our top piece on, and this is where we sometimes run into a little bit of an issue, because if these are over a little too far, I normally wouldn't have put the nail at the top. I would have waited until I put the top piece on, so I got a little ahead of myself. But if this is not flush, we're going to have to move this over just a little. So let's get a ladder. You hold that. Are you comfortable being on the ladder? Yes. All righty. And we no longer need the level because we already know that the pieces are equal, even. So we're going to just go ahead and turn this off. All righty. Let me hold this for you. All righty. How is it looking? Okay, so it's off a little bit over here. And that's the wood. It could just be that the wood is bowed out here, but that's okay. Because what I'm going to do is pull this out and we're going to move it over. Okay. Are you good? Okay, so all right, so let's put one over there. Got it? All right, and let's back this out. And, I don't have my, what's the face? Let me see. It's a Brad Nailer cutter that I don't have with me right now. It's okay. Alrighty, so I'll put one over here. Alrighty. Oh, we need another one. That's right. Here, you can put it in. Right there. There we go. Okay, so this, ladies and gentlemen, is what is affectionately referred to as wainscoting. We have a window. We have a chair rail. Tanisha did a fantastic job. So she's just so happy. Okay. All right. So with this, we are done. It's just a matter of putting that picture up there where it's going to be centered. And the picture was actually just on one hook. I think what we're going to do is put some more flush hooks on both sides of the picture so that it looks like it's more flush against the wall. So that's it. I'm just going to come back and clean everything up. So I want to show you, as I said, when you're doing wainscoting, you're going to see these cracks, things like that. We're going to come in and put some filler in there and you won't even know that it was there. And that, everybody, is a perfectly centered, perfectly flush, wonderful job. Thanks, Tanisha. Hey, so we have finished this project. We have run the chair rail from one end of the house over there in the corner and all the way over here. And Tanisha did a fantastic job of our wainscoting. And we did our Takor edge tamper resistant plug there. And we also put a push switch over there. Tanisha, you are wonderful. Can you give yourself a hand, Tanisha? Yeah. She did a good job. Thank you. So I wanted to show the benefit of actually using a laser when you're doing things like putting up your cabinets, doing ceramic tile, or in this case, putting up some wainscoting. So I have my height from this chair rail to this window frame is 5 inches. So I wanted to make it 5 inches from the chair rail to my bottom right here. And I wanted to make sure I'm lining everything up. So you see my laser is already on the top frame. And what that means is that the cross laser, I'm sorry, is on the top, on the top frame, and it's also giving me the line of my height beneath here. So all I have to do is to put my right side over here at the top of the laser because that's where I know I want that top piece to go. And I'm gonna actually just use this as a guide right there and come up a little and boom, we are right there. So what I'm gonna do now is, since we are right, and as I said in the previous video, it's no such thing as a straight line. When you're doing this, you're just gonna make some mistakes. It's just not gonna be totally plumb. But what I'm gonna do is use my brad nail. I moved my hand just a little bit. I'm going to use my brad nailer. Yep, there we go. I'm just going to put one nail in here. Now, the reason I'm only putting one nail in here is because when I do my top and my bottom, in case I need to back out for any reason, I want to be able to do that without having to pull so many nails out. And this is about right where I want it. I want to look at my cross line, and I'm going to have this come down just a little right there. And that is, yep, it's right across the top of the bar. That's where I want it to be. So I'm going to put just one over here. Make sure I have this nice and tight. And there we go. Just going to put one brad nail right here. Now, as I showed you before, or talked to people who took my class, that this brad nailer will actually sink the nails beneath the wood. And what we're going to do is use some wood filler to make sure our edges are okay and to cover up any holes that the brad nailer makes. So now I'm just going to put one. Yeah, we are right there. I want to be, actually what I'm going to do is move this down so that I have it right on the top. There we go. So I have my level right on the very top of this wood. Now I'm going to put a piece right here, a nail right here. That is because I just want to hold this wood up right here. And the reason is, oftentimes when you get wood that's beyond a certain length, sometimes the wood may be bowed out, it may be bowed in. So where I am right here, when I get over to here, I'm not sure if you can see it, but when I move over to the right side, we have our laser touching up here, and over on the right side, the laser is not touching the wood. So that lets me know that that piece of wood is bowed down in that direction. Just putting the nail right there, because it is at the top of the wood right there, allows me to just push that piece up before I put the brad nail in it. And when we do that, that helps to assure that we have a straight line. Now you may see the laser moving around because I am walking around on the floor, self-flooring. When you move, it's going to bounce around a little bit. So I'm just going to pull that up just a little. And now you can see that our laser, I'm not sure if you can see it, but our laser is right there at the top of our wood. Now I'm not going to actually put a staple in here yet because I want to put my bottom piece on, and then I want to get this other side piece to make sure that we're good there. So hopefully you can see this. I am working the camera by myself. I'm going to put my bottom piece on here, and forgot to put a brad nailer in that one. Now that we have our top piece, and once again, using a cross line laser really does help. And we are good right there. Backed it out just a little and put just one. Actually, I'm going to put one right here. And then I'm going to put my bottom piece on. Once again, just going to line it up here. Just put one one brad nail there. And now I'm going to come over here and make sure we are good. Now I'm going to move this up just a little to make sure we are right there on that line. And looks like we are right there. Remember, this piece of wood was bowed out just a little. So we got our line there. Now we're going to come back and put our brad nailer on this end. Just one. And now we just tighten these two pieces up, make sure our corners are flush. We got one right here, and we have one right here. Now, I think we are, we're good right there. So now it's just a matter of putting some filler in where those cracks are. And this, I wanted that top box, that bottom box of wainscoting to be level with that top box. Now, what I'm going to do is put another box within the box. Come back and show you. So this is the finished product of the wainscoting picture frame here in the living room. As I said, when you come to the front door, this is actually the first room that you see. And this particular picture of my wife and I, we had it framed some years ago. I just fell in love with it. This wall was just too big for that small picture to go on. And that's why I did the box within the box, because I thought if I can shrink that wall down just a little, that the picture wouldn't look so out of place right there. But as I said, the actual process of putting the wainscoting up, putting the wood up, the picture frames, that part is done. Now what I have to do is just come back and fill in these holes that you see right there. Just some basic wood filler, spackling. I have some, and I've always used this whenever I'm doing small projects like that. This stuff literally dries within maybe 30 minutes, and you can just fill in those gaps, those cracks, and it's ready to sand in maybe a half hour. Then you can go ahead and put your touch-up paint in. So this is the end of this particular project, and I'll be posting some other projects from here. Want to once again give a shout out to Tanisha. She is, I say my students, but she's a neighbor who couldn't take the classes when I offered them last year. I'll be teaching those classes again this year, but she wanted to come over and learn how to do this. So that first outer frame is what she and I did together. And I can't wait to show her this so that she can see just where we started from and where we actually ended up. See y'all in the next video.